Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm going to burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you for Better Off Dead Tuesday, whatever. July 8th, is that what day it is? Obviously, I have to ask every time because that's my thing now. Yesterday, the slump certainly continued with an 0-2 day yesterday. Made me look like a total idiot. The under did not get there with Dodgers Milwaukee. However, it was a 9-1 Milwaukee win. Yamamoto didn't even get past the first inning. There was a lot to that game, man, that I think just went way, way haywire early in that game, and you had terrible fielding by the Dodgers. I think there were at least 2 unearned runs that came home in the first inning. So all of a sudden, it becomes a 5-run first inning, and the over-under is already done. It's already over at that point. And from that point on, only 5 more runs were scored in the entire game. So if you take the first inning out of it, it would have gone under, basically. And Freddie Peralta, basically, he shut out the Dodgers for the entire time he was in there. They only scored 1 run as that part of the handicap continued. Dodgers being just terrible offensively right now. That continued. I still don't really think I handicapped that game wrong, man. It was just a bad sequence of events in the first inning, and it just ended the whole thing. Terrible. And then Texas and Anaheim, I got more wrong than that, as both starting pitchers struggled in that game. It still looked like it was kind of there for a little while. Like we got into like the 5th inning, and it was still, I think, right there on the. I think it was right on the 7 at that point. It was 4-3. It's like, let's just have the bullpens just save this for us. But of course, you can't ask Anaheim's bullpen to do anything for you, though. So that wound up being a loss. I apologize, man. 0-2 yesterday. As I do clarify on the show, I'm not betting any of these right now because I'm trying to remain risk tolerant, but I am giving out plays that I think are the best of the day that I would be betting if I was still betting, which I have been doing for a long time now. Andrew, good morning to you as well. Yes, sir, man. So this is, the anniversary of the passing of Andrew's mother, which sucks. Yes, man. I don't really know what else to say, man, but oh, she wouldn't like me? I don't know, man. Maybe she would. I don't know. I don't know her, but I mean, you like me for some reason. Yes, I am super offensive, and people think that I'm a terrible person because of it, but I'm not really. So I don't know, man. It's a mixed bag. But shout out to your mom, man. All right, WNBA here. We got. I'm not going to be recommending a play on either. I only have one play for the entire board today. It is a baseball full game money line side, which I will get to. It's not going to take me that long to get to it either. So just to make you aware of that. But WNBA, we can start by talking about these 2 games here. We do have Chicago at Washington. Washington's up from 4.5 to 7. 75% of tickets, only 71% of the cash. So Washington, they're public. I mean, Chicago's not a very good team. It looks like because the public is actually kind of going against Washington here, it looks like maybe there's an injury. And this game is actually, for some reason, at 11:30 in the morning Eastern. So we get this random early game in the WNBA here. There must be some injuries on the Chicago side, I would guess. It looks like, yeah, Cardoso is out, and we already knew Vandersloot was out. She's out for the rest of the season. So that's not going to have an impact on the line right now. But Cardoso being out, I think, is probably the reason why the line moved more towards Washington. I think for that reason, maybe looking towards Chicago is maybe the lean in this game. Because it is that injured player spot for Chicago now where they might step it up for their injured player there, step up their effort that first game without Cardoso, if that is our first game out. I'm not even sure. Washington is returning home from a road trip, which, as I always point out in other sports, isn't really the greatest spot to be in because you do have to kind of get back to home life and whatever. They did come off 2 straight losses, though, so I don't know. I mean, again, to me, it looks like maybe a slight lean to Chicago. Chicago is coming off a close loss to Minnesota, though. So both teams did just lose to Minnesota, but Chicago actually played them really close. Minnesota, very good team. So Chicago could be in a little bit of a hangover spot. And they're playing a 4th straight road game. So I don't really love this for Chicago either. Let me just see. I think Cardoso actually didn't play in this game either, it looks like. So I think that's not really, they're not going to really be in an injured player theory spot in this game because it's not going to be the first game without her. So it's a stay away for sure. And then the Aces are at the Liberty here. And the Aces just stomped Connecticut, which, I mean, everybody does. Connecticut's a doormat in the WNBA right now. Vegas having these really crazy, disparate results where they got absolutely crushed by Indiana without Caitlin Clark. Then bounced back with an easy win over Connecticut. Now they're playing a 4th straight road game, although at least the travel is short from Mohegan Sun over to New York City here. But I don't know, man. I mean, the Aces are very difficult to predict right now. They just, yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Sometimes they have bad defense. Sometimes they have bad rebounding. The Liberty are certainly the better of these two teams here, but the Liberty haven't been playing their best basketball recently, and they have lost a bunch of recent games. They've lost 5 of their last 7 games, including a loss last time out on this floor to Seattle. So in one way, maybe they're going to want to bounce back from this, and it might be a little bit more of a difficult spot for Vegas because they are playing another road game in a row here. Liberty are the better team, and they are up from 5-6 here, so probably that would be the way to lean here. The Liberty, but I'm laughing at you, Scott. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out, man. Good morning as well. I'm totally out of it, man. I've not showered. I'm wearing the clothes that I slept in. You know, it's all good. Yeah, we're gonna fillet today. Yes, sir. I don't know what the trophy means, but thank you, sir. You're the king, man, not me. All right. Yeah, so those are the leads of WNBA. Nobody really cares, but I do think, again, WNBA is a way to make some money, man. I'm just being kind of sparing with the WNBA plays that I give out on the show, but I have been winning overall in the WNBA this year, so there is that at least. All right. Major League Baseball, man. Baseball, because it's a Tuesday, everything is in the evening still. We have Mets-Baltimore is the earliest game up, and these teams were both off yesterday. Baltimore is returning home from a road trip, and you know I always say teams that return home from road trips, especially when Baltimore just swept Atlanta, could be a little bit of a letdown spot for them when you return home, man. And especially teams that aren't that good, like Baltimore, when they return home from a road trip, a lot of times they can be a little bit distracted, having to get back to family life, but they are facing the Mets, so this is a good team that they're playing, so maybe they won't be totally unfocused against the Mets. The Mets are coming off an even bigger series, though. I mean, the Mets are coming off the series against the Yankees. That's a huge series. And they lost their newfound win streak in the last game against the Yankees. They're now starting a road trip, which usually is a focus spot. But when you're coming off a series against the Yankees, man, and you're stepping down in class to face Baltimore, I don't really necessarily know if the Mets are really going to be that focused, man, because that Yankee series is a lot bigger than the Baltimore series. But the Mets, then again, I mean, they've been struggling so much recently. They probably do want to show up and play better. Clay Holmes is pitching for the Mets today. He does have good numbers, 2.99 ERA, 1.24 whip, a little bit high, though, and I still don't really trust Holmes. He's been pretty good on the road, 2.79 ERA. But if you look at what he's done recently, man, I mean, it doesn't look good to me. His last 3 starts, he's had at least 4 walks apiece in all of them. I mean, that looks terrible to me. He has 14 walks over the last 3 starts compared to only 8 strikeouts. I mean, that ratio is totally unsustainable. It's terrible. So Holmes right now is just walking so many guys that it's crazy that he's not giving up more runs. You put guys on base, obviously, damage is going to be done against you, man. Even if you are Clay Holmes, you're inducing a lot of ground balls, whatever. Like, I don't see how this can continue. I mean, he only gave up 2, 1, and 3 earned runs in those 3 starts. But, again, you're skating on thin ice every time you walk that many guys. So I think Holmes is not in good form right now. He's not pitching well right now. He does have good numbers against Baltimore, though. In 47 at-bats, 16-3 strikeout walk ratio, 213 average allowed, 537 OPS. So maybe Holmes will benefit from the matchup here. And Baltimore is sending Brandon Young to the mound. And he's a complete wild card. Very difficult to predict. He is a talented young pitcher who's kind of had a delayed start to his major league career due to some injuries, I believe. He has a 7.02 ERA and 1.98 WHIP this year, which obviously those numbers are pretty bad. 7.88 ERA at home. He's only made 4 starts so far this season. Baltimore's lost each of the last 3. He hasn't gone more than 4 2/3 innings in any of them. Strikeout walk ratio is not good. 11 walks is terrible. The strikeout rate is okay. But he's putting way too many guys on base, man. 15 strikeouts and 16 2/3 is fine, but 11 walks, horrible. So I don't really know that we can trust Young. And last 2 times out, he didn't do well against Texas either time. Texas, a pretty weak offense, even though Texas did benefit from having seen him the first time. They got to face him again and knew what he was going to throw at them. But I just don't know if we can really trust Brandon Young right now, even though we do know that the Mets have never seen him before. So sometimes that is an advantage to a young pitcher that has good stuff, which I do think Young does. So maybe a slight advantage there just because the Mets haven't seen him. But the Mets are good offense, man. I mean, they're going to be the best offense I think that he's faced so far. So this is a complete stay away from me. There are way too many conflicting factors in this game. The money's coming in on the Mets. It looks like with 82% of tickets, 91% of the cash, even though they dropped from -130 to -119. So, again, it's difficult to read the market here, too, because the money line moved against where the cash percentage is. We do know the Mets are going to be public, but possibly the public's not always wrong, so possibly they will have that game right. I don't know. I probably would trust Holmes, even though he's been pitching awful recently, just because of his matchup numbers, because it's a return home spot for Baltimore. Slight lean to the Mets, I guess. Young, you don't know what you're going to get out of him, so probably you're going to trust Holmes a little bit more. 2-acre ND Bear, what's up, man? Is that Nephilim Death Bear? I don't even know, man. I don't know what any of these acronyms stand for anymore. Tampa, Detroit, you guys, I told you we weren't going to have to wait that long. This is the one play I'm going to give out today, and it is the Tampa Bay Rays money line. I like Tampa in this game, man. I mean, first of all, Detroit used more of their relief pitchers yesterday. Detroit had a bullpen game yesterday, man, and I know a lot of times in Major League Baseball, a team actually does well the game after they use the bullpen game. Detroit is very used to being in this spot because they use bullpen games a lot, but I just don't love it, man. I mean, you have 2 decent bullpens matching up here, and Tampa's is the more rested bullpen after yesterday with Boz got them deeper into the game than I think Montero made the start for Detroit, so it wasn't really a full bullpen game because Montero, I think, got through about 4 innings for them or whatever, but Detroit had to use more of their bullpen. Tampa saved more of theirs. It was a 5-1 loss for Tampa yesterday, so none of the high-leverage relief guys had to come out of the bullpen for Tampa. So I think it sets up nicely for Tampa's bullpen. And I'm looking at these starting pitchers, and I think there's only one way to go here, man, and that is to look for Ryan Pepiot to outpitch Jack Flaherty here, especially based on what they've done recently. Pepiot, he keeps getting shit on a lot by professional bettors that I listen to, man, and I don't agree with them. I don't really understand why. Yeah, he has some bad starts in there, but overall, he's pretty good. 3.34 ERA, 1.15 WHIP, especially given the fact that he's had multiple Tommy John surgeries and his throwing elbow looks like it has an ear growing off of it, like he went to some mad scientist or something. I like Pepiot, though. He's not that much worse on the road, 3.86 ERA. Good start last time out. Gave up 2 runs against the A's, 9 strikeouts. 3 walks was a little bit high, but Pepiot, you kind of know what you're going to get. He's consistently walking a couple of guys in every start. He's getting high strikeout rates for the most part. He had 1 really bad game in there against Baltimore where he didn't even make it through the 2nd inning. But if you take that out, all the rest of his numbers are good, man. I had a 3.76 ERA in June, even if you include that one really bad start. All the other starts, he didn't allow more than 3 earned runs in any of them. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any start except the one at Fenway Park, besides the Baltimore one, and except for the Fenway Park, when he's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in all starts, going all the way back to mid-May, basically. So Pepiot, he is good, and the fact that he bounced back from that awful Baltimore start shows me that was kind of a blip, because he came back and he struck out the A's at a high rate there. So I think Pepiot is not in bad form at all right now. He's had really high strikeout numbers in all of the other games besides that Baltimore one recently, so he does have command of his pitches. 36-10 strikeout walk ratio in June is not that bad, and that's even factoring in the fact that he only had 1 strikeout against Baltimore. So I like how Pepiot's pitching right now, and his numbers are really good against Detroit in 55 at-bats, 18-8 strikeout walk ratio. So again, it's kind of too many walks, although 3 of them are Wenceel Perez. I don't even know who that is, but he's walked him 3 times. Overall, he's held Detroit to a 182 batting average and 606 OPS. So very low batting average, a low OPS as well. So I like how this looks for Pepiot in this game, man. I like the way he's been pitching recently. I like the matchup, and I don't like Jack Flaherty, and his numbers are not very good this year. 4.84 ERA, 1.24 WHIP. He's been better at home, for sure, 3.83 ERA, but Pepiot's road ERA, I think, is actually better than Flaherty's home ERA. And yes, I know we're fading Detroit, who is really good at home. I understand that, although Tampa's actually, I believe, not a bad road team. They're 21-17 on the road, so Tampa's above 500 on the road, as they don't really have that much of a home advantage playing in Steinbrenner Field. Tigers definitely have a big home advantage, but I think they are beatable in this game, man. Flaherty has not really been pitching that well. He had 2 starts where he got absolutely drilled in June against Cincinnati and against this Tampa team, by the way. So Tampa also just saw him. And then he did a little bit better his last 2 times out against the A's and Washington, kind of stepping down in class. But he walked 6 guys over 11 innings. So that doesn't bode well either, even though I know he had 16 strikeouts in those 2 starts, which is good. His strikeout rate has been high, but his walk rate has been way too high. In June, he had a 28-16 strikeout walk ratio, which is very bad. High strikeout rate again, but very high walk rate. 6.84 ERA, and he allowed 5 home runs in that span, so it wasn't good. And yes, I'll give him maybe a little bit of a pass for the Tampa game because that was at Steinbrenner Field, which is a very good hitting park, but he did not do well in that game, and that does also mean that Tampa just saw Flaherty, so they're very familiar with him, and they beat him up the last time I saw him. Although, yes, Pepiot did just see Detroit, which I believe was not the same game, or was it? Let me see. No, it was a different one of the games, so these pitchers didn't match up against each other. So, yeah, both opposing offenses did just see these starting pitchers, but, these starting pitchers have been around for a long time, so they're not really mysterious to the opposing offenses. I just think this is a matchup thing where Pepiot just consistently does well against Detroit, and Flaherty has consistently done badly against Tampa Bay. If you look at his numbers against Tampa, 42 at-bats, 333 average, allowed 964 OPS, 13-6 strikeout walk ratio is not that impressive either. Strikeout rate is high again, but a high walk rate. He has just not been good against Tampa, so the matchup numbers kind of dictate this one. I think that Pepiot has the upper hand in the matchup, and he's the pitcher that's been pitching better. Money looks like it might be coming in on Detroit a little bit, 60% of tickets, 66% of the cash, but they are down from -130 to -126, and they are the public side. When I looked earlier this morning, they had less of the cash percentage. Action Network has some strong market indicators on Tampa today. So that's what I'm going with, man. I like the matchup for it. I like the bullpen situation for Tampa. I think the offenses are somewhat comparable as well. So I think Tampa can get this game. They're getting an underdog price here. I think they have a slight matchup advantage here. So we're going with Tampa in that game, man. Holy shit, we got a lot of people in the chat here. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Hinchy, what's up, man? I'll try to shout everybody out. Fishin', what's up, man? Emily is in here too. What's up? Emily, oh yeah, you have blonde hair. I don't mind it, actually. It's not bad. Points for the crown. I have no idea. I don't know. It seems like whatever's in the chat is like everything's going backwards here, man. So I might miss some shout outs here. Lucas, that is correct. Sports. Will, thank you, sir. Lucas doesn't love me, though, so I'm feeling not like an asshole today, so I won't say anything mean right now. Anyway, yeah, let's keep going here. Oh, you guys slept together? Wrong chat. Whoa. I missed out on all the gayness that went on at Bro Grove, man. You should have had me come join you. All right. Oh, Emily, you changed your picture now. Come on, go back to the blonde. What? Or was that the Twitter one? Was the? I don't even know, man. No, it was YouTube. I don't know. All right, let's get back to this baseball here. Seattle at Yankees. Yankees returning home from a road trip. They only went to Toronto though, and they were in New York the last time. So is it really a return home spot? Not really. I mean, they were already back in New York City, so they're already able to be back home, like with their families and whatever. So it's not really a return home spot for the Yankees. They had lost 5 or 6 games in a row, and then finally won against the Mets. So the Yankees did at least break their losing streak there. Seattle is starting a road trip here, and a lot of times you are focused when you start a road trip. They are coming off shutting out Pittsburgh for an entire series, but I mean, it's Pittsburgh, so it's not very impressive, and you probably are going to be focused when you're facing the Yankees. Logan Gilbert is pitching for Seattle, 3.4 ERA, 0.95 whip. Nice numbers, but he's been significantly worse away from Seattle, which a lot of Seattle pitchers just pitch way better at home because it's a pitcher-friendly park. He has a 6 ERA on the road, which worries me, even though Gilbert, he's coming back from injury. He was injured for like 2 months, and he's been decent since he came back from injury. Did have a 23-2 strikeout walk ratio in June, although he had a 5.87 ERA. But the strikeout walk numbers tell me that he was actually doing well. He gave up a bunch of home runs, most of them at Wrigley Field, which I think that kind of is a little bit of an outlier. I think he is still pitching well right now. He did not make it 5 innings last time out against Kansas City, which is a little bit concerning. He walked 3 guys against that bad lineup, but he only gave up 1 run. He struck out 7. So I think Gilbert, I mean, he's still in decent form here at least. Up against the Yankees, though, let me see. Yankees have a really good offense, obviously. His numbers are not great. In 58 at-bats, 276 average, 794 OPS, 17-5 strikeout walk ratio is pretty good. But Gilbert only has, like, mediocre numbers against the Yankees, really. And he's going up against Will Warren, who does not have good numbers on the season, 5.02 ERA, 1.42 whip, although Warren is way better at home, so the splits are very much in favor of Warren against Gilbert here. 3.35 home ERA. Hasn't been pitching well recently, though. He got bombed in his last start against Toronto, although he actually was doing okay prior to that. High strikeout rate, but high walk rate, though. 2.86 ERA in 5 starts in June. The Yankees won 4 of those starts. 34-11 strikeout walk ratio, though. Like I said, it's a lot of strikeouts, but a lot of walks. And last time out, he had 4 of each strikeouts and walks, which isn't that great. He got blasted by Toronto for 8 runs. So either that's a blip or he's in bad form right now. Kind of have to decide which is the case. He does have good numbers in a very small 13 at-bat sample size against Seattle with 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 154 average, 497 OPS. So overall, I think the lean is to the Yankees in this one, and the money seems to agree with it fairly strongly. They're up from -120 to -131. 73% of the money on them, the cash, and 57% of tickets on Seattle. Very weird to see the public fading the Yankees. I mean, you don't see that very often, and the money actually coming in on the Yankees. You still get a pretty cheap price on the Yankees, given the fact that they're at home, and I think it's because Warren's ERA is terrible and Gilbert's is good. Other than that, yeah, I mean, slightly into the Yankees, and of course the Yankees do have the better offense, even though I do think Seattle has the better bullpen. But I think the starting pitching matchup does work out fairly well for the Yankees in this one. Cal Raleigh is good, though. That's true, yes. And yeah, Toronto is definitely hot right now, man. I think, they haven't lost their win streak yet, right? Well, we'll get to Toronto shortly, I guess. Colorado at my Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox won yesterday, 9-3, and both teams used some relief pitchers yesterday. I mean, Colorado's bullpen is obviously the worst of the two. Colorado's offense is obviously the worst. Red Sox get to face one of the pitchers who's not that bad in Colorado's rotation here, though. Kyle Freeland is not terrible. His numbers are bad, though, still. 5.49 ERA, 1.58 whip. That's not good. He has been better on the road, though, 4.5 ERA, so he's at least serviceable on the road. Over his last 4 starts, he's only allowed more than 3 earned runs once and only failed to reach 6 innings once. That actually goes back his last 5 starts. It only happened once at Milwaukee. He got beat up a little bit, but he's not pitching that horribly. Although he doesn't strike a lot of guys out, he does walk too many guys. So I guess just try to figure out what you can from that. A very small 14 at-bat sample size against the Red Sox. 4.0 strikeout walk ratio, and he's held them to a 214 average of 571 OPS. But maybe dial that back a little bit because Walker Buehler is in those stats, 1 for 6 with 3 strikeouts. So the numbers are maybe a little bit, they're not quite as good as they look given that, because obviously Buehler is a pitcher. We should not include him in those stats. I wish that ESPN would take the pitchers out of these numbers, man, because when it's a small sample size like this, it really affects the numbers. But the Red Sox aren't very familiar with Freeland, so you have to kind of figure out, is that going to be much of an advantage to Freeland when he's not really that good? Red Sox haven't seen him before. Bayo is pitching for the Red Sox, 3.42 ERA, still a way too high, 1.38 whip. He's been worse at home, 3.6 ERA, although I know his ERA is still not bad. Bayo is just somehow escaping, man, because he's an extreme ground ball pitcher, so he walks way too many guys. His strikeout rate's not that good, but he just kind of gets away with it, man, and he hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs going all the way back to mid-May in any start. And he's been going deeper into starts. He's gone at least 5 innings in every start going back to the start of June. So he is actually pitching better. 23-10 strikeout walk ratio in June. Still too many walks. 2.87 ERA. Definitely, I mean, that's pretty good, obviously. And then his one start this month, 5-inning performance, gave up 2 runs against Cincinnati. So he is pitching okay. He's facing a really weak Colorado offense, and they're only 1 for 10 off him lifetime. 100 average, 500 OPS, 2 strikeouts, no walks, and Moniak does have a home run off him. So Red Sox, I mean, obviously they're going to be a big favorite. I mean, Colorado is just historically bad, and the money has come in on the Red Sox a little bit, up from minus 225 to minus 240. 94% of tickets, 98% of the cash. I mean, I could see this being an under, to be honest. We have 81% of tickets, 82% of the cash on the over, but the total has dropped significantly from 9.5 juice to the over to 9 juice to the under. If you do like the under, you got to get it before it drops below the 9, man, because 9 is a key number in baseball. When you have a 4-4 tie, that's what breaks the tie. I know 9 is a high number, so the books are kind of telling you they think this is going to be a high-scoring game, but with a lot of unfamiliarity with these pitchers and these pitchers not being that bad and Colorado's offense really being bad, and under might kind of make sense, maybe in the first 5 innings as well, because maybe you don't want to deal with the bullpens in this game, but I don't think it's a very strong lean whatsoever. All right, let me see. Yes, you too, Will. Thanks for hanging out. I don't think that's true, Lucas, but all right, I will agree with you here. Yes, this is true. That's what happened, actually. Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it, man. So I declined the offers from Lucas there. Miami at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is in a spot where they returned home yesterday, and as I point out, teams in return home spots tend to be at a disadvantage. They tend to be distracted. So I know some of those teams won yesterday. Cincinnati was not one of those teams, but when a team does return home and they do bad that first time, Cincinnati losing that first game to Miami, pretty embarrassing. A lot of times they'll do better the next time out. That second game back at home, they're already kind of settled back in at home, and they'll refocus and play better in the second game. But is Cincinnati going to do that here? I don't know, because Cincinnati, they used more of their bullpen yesterday. I know both bullpens are pretty bad, but I think Miami actually has a little bit of a bullpen rest edge here. And you have to try to figure out Yuri Perez for Miami here, man. I mean, he's a very young pitcher. He is still talented. He's been dealing with injuries that have kind of derailed the start to his major league career. Has a 4.5 ERA this year, but a 1.18 whip is pretty good. He's been bad on the road, though, 6.35 road ERA, and we are talking about Great American Ballpark here, which is a hitter-friendly ballpark. Perez wasn't pitching well in his first 4 starts this year. He was kind of just working his way through it, walking too many guys, whatever. Didn't make it 5 innings in any of them. But now, all of a sudden, His most recent start, 6 innings shutout against Minnesota, which I know they're not a good offense, but still, 6 innings, 1 hit allowed, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. So all of a sudden, Perez had an excellent start, and maybe that's a sign that he is getting back to his old form, because when he was a really young pitcher in the league, back when he was like 20 years old, he was actually putting up really good numbers. He has the ability to do so, and maybe it's coming back, man. So maybe Perez is actually returning to form here. His numbers against Cincinnati are all over the place. It's a small 16 at-bat sample size. 250 average allowed is low, but a 1,181 OPS means he has given up some hard hits and some walks. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs to Stevenson and Encarnacion Strand. I hate that name, but yeah. Way too long of a name, man. Shorten it, man. Let's just call him ES. Anyway, yeah, so Yuri Perez, though, I would lean towards him actually doing pretty well in this game, though. Like, that would be my feeling. I think he's just trending in the right direction. His sample size against Cincinnati is kind of too small to really think that much about. Nick Martinez is pitching for the Reds. He's been okay, 4.2 ERA, 1.17 whip. He's been better at home as well, 3.42 ERA at home. He's pitching decent recently. He had one really bad outing. I think this one against Minnesota, and then they actually sent him to the bullpen. He came out of the bullpen twice, and then they returned him to the starting rotation. He's had 2 starts since then, and he's done pretty well with an 8-2 strikeout walk ratio, gone at least 6 2/3 in both starts. Struggled a little bit more against the Red Sox, but still had a decent start against them and got the win in that game. He actually got the win in both starts since returning from the bullpen, where a lot of times when you send a guy to the bullpen, it kind of sends a message. They can kind of get things right, work with like some different pitching coaches, work their way back. So Martinez actually isn't pitching that bad either, and he has good numbers against Miami in a 41 at-bat sample size, 11-2 strikeout walk ratio, 220 average, 500 OPS. So what does that mean for this game? What do we want to do with it? As far as the market read, we see Cincinnati down from -125 to -117, but 67% of tickets, 92% of the cash coming in on Cincinnati. Again, I do think it is a good situational spot for Cincinnati, and they do at least have the way better offense. But I think maybe an under might be a way to look, or maybe go under first 5 innings and just go with the starting pitching matchup to be a good starting pitching matchup here. But the total's high at 9. We see 55% of tickets, 97% of the cash on the over. I don't know if I would totally agree with that, although once you talk about the full game, you're getting into like some bad bullpen pitching and whatever. So maybe, maybe the over in the full game doesn't make sense. But I think with those starting pitchers, you might see some struggling to score earlier on in the game. Fish and Cubert, whoever you are, thanks for hanging out at least, man. Okay, your slugging percentage is almost, you're almost batting 1,000 with... what is that? Gorilla women, basically. All right. It's black women, I think. Don't get me banned, man. Do not get me banned from this channel here. All right. Chicago and Minnesota here. Cubs, I should specify, at Minnesota here. Both of these teams were off yesterday as well. Minnesota is just staying at home. Cubs are starting a road trip, and they're coming off blasting the St. Louis Cardinals in 2 out of 3 games. So the Cubs, coming off a divisional game, they might be in for a little bit of a letdown spot here, feeling a little bit high on themselves. Again, when teams are coming off having a day off, obviously it does mean the bullpens are rested. So I tend to look towards unders in games where the bullpens are rested. I don't know if we would want to do that here, though, with a very high total. But Shota Imanaga pitching for the Cubs, I mean, he is one of their best pitchers, 2.78 ERA, 1 whip, which is quite good as well. And he's been really good on the road with a .98 road ERA. He has some really extreme home road splits. He's only made 2 starts since coming back from injury. Went 5 and then 5 1/3 innings. Had a shutout against St. Louis his first time back. Gave up 3 runs against Cleveland, which isn't that great. Somehow he gave up 3 home runs, and that was at Wrigley. Must have been wind blowing out. Imanaga's had some issues at home, I think, with the home run ball this year, and that was one of those games. But he didn't give up any runs besides the home runs, and he had 4 strikeouts, no walks, so it wasn't really that bad of a start for Imanaga. So I think he's just continuing where he left off. He's good. So I wouldn't really have much of a problem if you wanted to back Imanaga in some way in this game. 17 career at-bats against Minnesota, 5 strikeouts, no walks. Royce Lewis does have a home run, but he's held him to a 118 average, 471 OPS. So Imanaga has good numbers against a weak Minnesota offense, and he's the way more talented pitcher over Simeon Woods Richardson. I apologize to Woods Richardson here, but that's just true. 4.41 ERA for him, 1.34 whip. He's been better at home, though, 3.82 home ERA. He's pitched well his last 2 outings, going 5 innings in each, only allowing 1 run over those 10 innings. And he did have a 9-3 strikeout walk ratio, so he is starting to pitch a little bit better. Actually, his last 4 starts have all been fairly good. Only allowing 4 earned runs across the last 4 starts. So he's actually starting to pitch a little bit better after he had a bad strikeout walk ratio for a lot of the year. Last year, he was a pretty effective pitcher, though. So I was thinking, well, he's just not that good. Maybe the league is figuring him out. But over the last 4 starts, like I said, he is actually pitching a little bit better. Up against the Chicago Cubs, though, might be a different story because the Cubs are a good offense. They only have 5 at-bats against them, but they do have a 400 average, 1 walk, no strikeouts, 900 OPS. So Woods Richardson, it is possible he struggles here. My first reaction was, well, I want to lean to the Cubs here because they have the better starting pitcher, but the market is completely against that. And I kind of understand that with the fact that the Cubs, they're maybe in a letdown spot coming off that series against St. Louis, man. They have 87% of the tickets, so the public is all over the Cubs here. 54% of the cash on Minnesota, though. Cubs down from -140 to -125, so strong market reads on Minnesota here. Yeah, I mean, the Cubs, like I said, I mean, I would not want to do that. I mean, the Cubs do still have a pitching advantage in this game that I wouldn't want to really deal with, and I think the Cubs have the better bullpen as well, and obviously have the better offense, so that would worry me a little bit. Although Minnesota is good at home, so at least there is that. They have a really bad losing record on the season, but they have a winning record at home. Cubs do have a winning road record, but Minnesota's home record is better than that. So maybe professional money kind of just thinking, well, Minnesota's better than the record indicates, so maybe there's just value taking them as a home underdog here. I don't particularly love the matchup, though. Dodgers and Milwaukee, the game I got wrong yesterday. Isn't that great? We have an interesting pitching matchup in this one. Dodgers used a lot of their bullpen yesterday, man. The Dodgers' bullpen has been a mess recently, and their offense has been a mess. The Dodgers are just not looking good right now. They are about to get Glasnow back, though, so that's going to help their starting pitching rotation, and maybe that'll help rescue their bullpen a little bit, because their bullpen, they're overworked. They're not playing well. Milwaukee's bullpen is actually better than the Dodgers' bullpen at this point, and Milwaukee has the more rested bullpen after yesterday. So Milwaukee actually has a bullpen edge. The starting pitching matchup is definitely interesting with Kershaw, who is basically a DEI all-star. What do we call all-star on nomination? Not nomination. He's been named to the team, so it's kind of he's a DEI all-star player now, basically, because they just gave it to him. He's a legend all-star selection now, man. I mean, he's not doing badly, though, but I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous when he's only pitched like for half of the season or whatever, or a little bit less, and you had other guys that are probably more deserving of making that all-star team. Kershaw has been okay, though. 3.43 ERA, 1.25 whip. Better on the road as well, 1.5 ERA on the road. In Milwaukee, their offense isn't as good at home, although I know they put up a lot of offense yesterday. Kershaw, I mean, as of late, everything's been going right for him for the most part. He's pitching better. Besides his last start where he gave up 4 runs against the White Sox somehow, though it wasn't even that bad. He went 6 innings, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. Prior to that, he hadn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in 4 straight starts. Dodgers have won 6 straight starts for Kershaw. Although most of those starts, he wasn't facing very good offenses, but he is pitching better. 2.28 ERA in June across 5 starts, 23-7 strikeout walk ratio there. Against the Brewers over his career, 61 at-bats, 246 average, a little bit high, 815 OPS, though, because they have 4 home runs off him. Yelich is 9 for 32 with a double, 2 home runs, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, though. And overall, Kershaw has a 17-7 strikeout walk ratio against him. But overall, I think his numbers are decent against Milwaukee. He's going up against the rookie flamethrower, Jacob Misiorowski, who is pitching well, except for his last start. He has a 3.2 ERA, 0.92 whip, but should we be worried about his start against the Mets because he finally faced a good offense? That was the best offense he faced, and he ran into it, man. After he was pitching really well prior to that, the Mets tagged him for 5 runs. He did not do well in that game. He walked 3 guys, gave up 2 home runs. His walk numbers are too high. He has a high strikeout rate, 21 and 19 and 2/3 innings, but 10 walks is not good. So maybe Mlb is struggling against good offenses, and yes, the Dodgers are a good offense. However, the Dodgers offense is playing very poorly right now, and they haven't seen Mlb before, so I kind of lean towards him bouncing back in this game, man, facing a cold offense right now that has never seen him before, which is usually an advantage to a talented young pitcher, especially a guy who's as good as Mlb is. He does throw really hard. So this game kind of looks like an under type of game, but I would not want to deal with the Dodgers bullpen especially. I mean, neither bullpen is that good. So I'd be looking under probably in the first 5 innings in this game, although the total's up from 8 to 8.5 here. 76% of tickets, 97% of the cash on the over. So the money is coming in on the over. I don't really agree with that. Money also coming in on the Dodgers to bounce back from an embarrassing game yesterday, but the Dodgers have been just playing bad baseball recently. They're up from -110 to -121, 69% of the cash on them, 57% of tickets coming in on the Brewers. It kind of surprises me the public actually doesn't even want the Dodgers here. With Kershaw on the mound, the public still doesn't want the Dodgers. That kind of surprises me that would be the case, to be honest. With the Dodgers being a road favorite, to me, I would almost start thinking, well, maybe there's some value playing the rookie hurler here in Mlb in this game. And with Milwaukee having the offense that's in way better form right now and the better bullpen, like maybe there are some reasons to look towards Milwaukee at a price like this, but the money seems to disagree with me there. We're going to stay away completely. And then I will point out that a lot of times when a pitcher is named to the All-Star team, they kind of do bad in that first start. A lot of times they'll have one start between being named to the All-Star team, because I know the All-Star game is coming up this weekend. If the pitcher starts after they get named to the All-Star team, between getting named to the All-Star game and playing in the All-Star game, they tend to kind of, they have a less focused appearance a lot of times. But I think that happens more with a guy who's named to his first All-Star game. So we will talk about that with one pitcher, I believe, who's pitching today, being named to their first All-Star team. And when that happens, sometimes they get distracted in that game that they pitch after they get named to the All-Star team. But for Kershaw, I mean, he's been on the All-Star team almost every year of his career, probably. So he's been there, done that. So I don't think it's going to really affect him. So I don't think that's going to be a factor here. Malang, what's up, man? Not Malang. Malang was the name of the that Taliban guy, right? Who I tried to get on Tower Gang back in the day. Was that Malang as well? Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's what it reminds me of, though. I was trying to get that guy to come on Tower Gang. But what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out, everybody. All right. That Taliban guy, I asked him to come on a 9/11 special that we did. He actually had the link and he said he was going to do it, but he never showed up. So that would have been interesting if it happened. He was a shit poster on Twitter, which was even more hilarious. Pirates at Kansas City. Kansas City kind of surprised me with a 9-run outburst and a win in a return home spot yesterday against a Pittsburgh team that isn't really a team you're going to necessarily focus on. So Kansas City did win that game yesterday. Kansas City does have the better bullpen, so we do have to give them that, obviously. Zach is in here, of course, waiting for me to talk about the Royals. They're facing Pittsburgh again here. The pitching matchup actually looks pretty good in this one, man. So already I'm going to tell you I'm kind of leaning towards an under in this game. Mitch Keller is pitching for Pittsburgh, and he's flying under the radar, man, because he gets overshadowed by Skeens, but he's putting together a nice season. 3.64 ERA, 1.19 whip for the Pirates here. He's been better on the road, too. 3.16 road ERA. He's been good recently. 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, and a 7-inning shutout last time out against St. Louis. Hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any start going all the way back to early June, pretty much. He's been good for a bunch of starts in a row now. He actually got wins in his last 2 starts, too. So finally, he got some run support behind him and got some wins, too. So Keller is pitching well, and he's facing a weak Kansas City offense. But Kansas City actually does well against him. In 40 at-bats, they have 8 strikeouts, 10 walks, although 8 of the walks are Jonathan India, who absolutely wrecks him. So if you want player props, India has really good numbers against Keller. 8 for 18, 2 doubles, a home run, 8 walks, 2 strikeouts. So overall, Keller's allowed a .325 average, 1,066 OPS to the Royals. But all of it is basically Jonathan India. So that's the thing. When it's one guy, you can kind of pitch around him a little bit. So I actually don't think Keller necessarily matches up that badly against this bad Kansas City offense. I think he might do okay in this game. And he's up against Seth Lugo, who continues to defy the analytics guys and pitch well. And I keep telling you, he's not bad. I mean, the rest of his numbers, I look at the numbers as an old school guy, man. I'm like, oh, his whip is good. His strikeout walk ratio is good. But, I mean, there aren't really many reasons to dislike Lugo here, man. I mean, fuck the analytics, advanced analytics. 2.65 ERA, 1.09 whip. Obviously good numbers. He's been good at home, 2.42 ERA at home. He's pitching well recently. He's allowed 0 or 1 earned run in every start going all the way back to June 12th when he shut out the Yankees. And the game before that, he only allowed 2 earned runs against the White Sox. He actually hasn't allowed more than 4 earned runs in any start all season. Last few starts, he's had 7 or more strikeouts in the last 4 starts in all of them. He did walk 5 guys in one start against the Dodgers, but other than that, his walk numbers weren't high either. He's pitching well right now, man. He had a 1.26 ERA in June with a 31-11 strikeout walk ratio. Gave up 1 run in his start in July at Seattle. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, went 6 1/3. Lugo, he's in good form, man. And he's facing a weak Pirates offense. 50 at-bats against him. He has a 10-2 strikeout walk ratio, 240 average, 609 OPS. Reynolds does have a home run off him. And Pham does damage against him, 7 for 15, 2 doubles and 2 RBIs. But Lugo overall, I think he's going to do well here, man. I think both starting pitchers will do well. I like Kansas City's bullpen at least, so I think an under either in the first 5 innings or even full game. I mean, Pittsburgh, yeah, their bullpen isn't that good, so maybe you want to exclude them, but I would say under. Either way you want to do it, I think is okay in this game. Totals down from 8.5 to 8 now. 58% of tickets are on the under, 71% of the cash on the under. And again, I think you could go first 5 inning or full game on that, and I would not disagree either way on that. Trading Brady Singer for India was the right move. Yeah, India's hitting pretty well. Brady Singer's struggling with the Reds right now, although he's moving from a more pitcher-friendly park in Kansas City to a very hitter-friendly park in Great American Ballpark, so that's kind of an issue. Brady Singer, by the way, if we remember, he's from Leesburg, Florida, right? He's the guy from Leesburg, and we, as Nephilim Death Squad Bohemian Grove people, we do not like Leesburg for canceling the show on us. But obviously we went and did the show somewhere else. Stacks, what's up, man? All right. Yeah, shout out to the Joke Joint and Alex there in Central Florida for hosting that event 2 years in a row now. He's a cool dude. I like him, man. Even though he's got a lot of quirks. He's like a GTA character. Probably belongs to some sort of, cartel or something based on how he looks. But I don't know. Toronto, here are the Blue Jays. I said I was going to get to them. They're at the Chicago White Sox. White Sox returned home from a road trip yesterday and lost. I mean, as expected probably because Toronto is obviously the better team. Toronto, they're still on that win streak, man. Huge win streak right now. They've won 8, 9 games in a row, whatever this is now. Facing a bad White Sox team. So I don't know that the win streak is just going to end right here, man. Toronto is a hot team. They have the better offense here. They have the better bullpen here, and they may have the better starting pitcher as well with Bassett on the mound. Although his numbers have been getting a lot worse. 4.32 ERA, 1.39 whip. That's not good. He's been worse on the road significantly. 6.38 road ERA. So that's not good. He had one really bad start at Fenway. He got absolutely lit up. But if you throw that start out, he hasn't allowed more than 4 earned runs in any start going all the way back to the beginning of June. So besides that Red Sox start, he is pitching pretty well overall, although he's walked a lot of guys in the last 2 starts. So that is a question. 7 walks compared to 12 strikeouts over the last 2 starts. So that's an issue, although he did strike out 9 against the Yankees. So maybe it was just a blip against the Red Sox. He just did really bad in that game against the Red Sox. And he's facing the White Sox here after facing the Red Sox and the Yankees. This is a step down in class to face this White Sox offense, man. And he has done well against them in 47 career at-bats, 13-3 strikeout walk ratio. Benintendi does have a home run off him, but basically nobody else does damage against him in this lineup. 213 average, 537 OPS. So I do think Bassett matches up pretty well here. He should probably put together a good game against this bad offense. Aaron Savali is pitching for the White Sox. They got him not that long ago in a trade. 4.6 ERA, 1.49 whip on the season. He hasn't been very good. He does have a 2.63 home ERA this year, and that includes his time with Milwaukee and with the White Sox. He only had one home start so far since the White Sox got him. He gave up 1 run in 4 innings against San Francisco. Walked 4 guys, which isn't very good. So he kind of struggled against a pretty weak San Francisco lineup. Hasn't really been that great otherwise with the White Sox here. They've lost all 4 of his games so far. Did okay against the Dodgers last time out, although they lost the game. He went 5 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. He was serviceable in that game. His numbers against Toronto are not good, though. 64 at-bats, 6-8 strikeout walk ratio, 5 home runs allowed. Vlad Guerrero, 5 for 14 with 2 home runs and 2 walks, 297 average, 922 OPS overall. And when I mention player props, I usually specify hits plus runs plus RBIs. I prefer over total bases because you can get walks mixed in there and still get something out of it at least. But yeah, 922 OPS, very high, 297 batting average against. So Savali doesn't do well against this Toronto offense. I think Toronto probably is the right side here. They're up from minus 170 to minus 188. 92% of tickets, only 87% of the cash, though. So Toronto is public and less of the cash coming in on them, and you do have to pay a large price for them. So I'm not really willing to recommend that as a play or anything. And the White Sox are at least in that spot where when a team returns home from a road trip and they do bad that first time, they tend to bounce back and do better in the second game. Nate, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. So at least the White Sox are in that somewhat positive situational spot. Washington is at St. Louis. Both teams were off yesterday. St. Louis is returning home from going to Pittsburgh, or actually Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Chicago. So they didn't really travel that far, but they've been away from home for a while. So St. Louis is in a return home spot. So I'm like, oh, that's not a good spot because you do fall into distractions a lot of times when you return home. You have to get back to family life. Probably won't be paying attention to this Washington team. It's in total disarray. So initially I was like, well, we're looking to fade St. Louis here, right? And Washington just fired their manager. And you know I like to talk about the fired coach spot where when a team is just in disarray, they shake things up, they fire. This works for like any sport. If they fire their coach, or in this case, their manager, and if the team wasn't gelling with him, they didn't like him, sometimes that sparks the team, and the team will be more willing to play for like this next guy that comes in. And for Washington, Miguel Cairo is going to be the interim. I think he must have been on their coaching staff, and they elevated him to the manager position. But to me, it seems like the players might respect him because he played in the majors, man, so he knows the deal. So he understands the players. So it might be a good move for Washington. So I was like, oh, I kind of like Washington in this spot, right? Like maybe they'll get a spark out of firing their manager, shaking things up here. That all seems good. And plus, players tend to play better because they want to prove that they're not the problem and that the coaching was the problem. So the players can be motivated for multiple reasons. But then I looked at the starting pitching matchup, and I'm like, I can't do it, man. And Washington's bullpen is awful. I mean, St. Louis's bullpen isn't great. But St. Louis has the better offense and the better bullpen still because Washington's bullpen, very bad. And I look at the starting pitching matchup, and I'm like, man, when you want to fade St. Louis in a return home spot and play Washington in the fired manager spot, this is a pitching matchup you do not want to see. Like, if it was anybody other than Sonny Gray pitching for St. Louis, I would probably be recommending a play fading St. Louis here. But unfortunately, it's Sonny Gray, so I don't think we can do it. Jake Irvin is pitching for the Nationals, and he hasn't been that good this year. 4.71 ERA, 1.29 whip. He's been worse on the road very significantly. 5.79 road ERA, so that doesn't bode well for him either. Hasn't been pitching well recently. He had a 7.01 ERA in June. That's bad. 24-10 strikeout walk ratio. Not terrible, but still too many walks. He's walked multiple guys in every start but one, going all the way back to the beginning of June. He's just not pitching that well, man. He had an okay start last time out, and they actually won his last 3 starts, even though he got shelled against Anaheim. They somehow still won that one. And then he gave up 3 runs against Detroit, walked 3 guys, and they still won that one. So he's been getting run support, man, in his last 3 starts. So Washington has at least been hitting behind him. But other than that, I don't like how Irvin matches up here, man. He doesn't have good numbers against the Cardinals either, I don't think, when I looked at this earlier today. Yeah, in 30 at bats, 333 average allowed. He's allowed home runs to Contreras and Burleson, 994 OPS. Those are not good numbers. 9-3 strikeout walk ratio is fine, but Irvin is bad on the road. He's bad against St. Louis, so I don't trust Irvin here, man. It hasn't been pitching particularly well either, so that's the problem. It looks like it's a good spot situationally to play Washington here, but I don't think he can do it, man. Again, he's up against Sonny Gray, who is pretty much still the best starting pitcher St. Louis has. 3.51 ERA, 1.08 whip, and he is significantly better at home. So the splits are against Irvin and in favor of Gray as well. 2.76 home ERA. He's pitching well recently, too, as he's been racking up a lot of strikeouts. He had a 25-3 strikeout walk ratio in June, 2.55 ERA. Last time out, he did give up 4 runs against Pittsburgh, which isn't very good, but he went 6 1/3 innings, only gave up 5 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. So I wouldn't say that was a bad start. I think he just got a little bit unlucky in that one, and he was coming off a complete game 1-hit shutout with 11 strikeouts against Cleveland, although he didn't even throw that many pitches in that game. He's actually pitching efficiently with his pitches. He's not throwing a lot of pitches. So as an older guy, they're actually doing a good job managing his pitch count, and he's doing a good job getting his team deep into games. He is still pitching well, man. Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals have still won 8 out of his last 10 starts, so I don't really want to fade Sonny Gray here, man. His numbers are pretty good against Washington, 101 at bats, so they are really familiar with him, but he has a 21-5 strikeout walk ratio against him, a 248 average allowed, and 639 OPS. So Gray has been good against them, so I just don't want to do it, man, even though the situation was making me like, oh, I want to play Washington here. I don't want to do it, although you could argue St. Louis is favored too heavily. They're up from -170 to -205, but I think they do have every advantage in this game. They have 80% of tickets, 93% of the cash, so it looks like the money is actually still coming in at St. Louis there. Not going to be anything I recommend to play on. Houston, return home from a road trip, and they lost yesterday to Cleveland, which I mentioned that on my show yesterday, man. Maybe I should have given it out as a play. I just didn't love the pitching matchup and whatever, but Houston returned home from a road trip and swept the Dodgers. They were in a bad, distracted spot, letdown spot. They got caught by Cleveland yesterday, man. So now I think it's a better spot for Houston to bounce back because, again, a good team like Houston, they're pretty good at home, too, and very good at home, actually. And when they return home and they suffer a loss like that because they were distracted, a lot of times they bounce back and return to form, return to focus in the next game, which I think might happen here. Houston does have the better bullpen as well. Cleveland used more of their bullpen yesterday. The matchup looks like it very much favors Houston as well. Joey Cantillo is pitching for Cleveland. He's got a 3.41 ERA this year, 1.39 whip. He hasn't made that many appearances. He has been good on the road, 1.08 ERA on the road. But again, actually, he's made more appearances than I thought just because I don't pay attention to the bullpens, really. He's been coming out of the bullpen basically all season. He made a start last time out. They let him go 3 1/3 innings, and he didn't allow any runs against the Cubs, which is pretty good, although he did walk 3 guys. Struck out 5. Overall, it was still a decent performance against a hard-hitting lineup. So Cantillo did okay in that game. But he's not going to go very deep into this game, man. So I think Cleveland, having a starter that's probably only going to get you like 3-4 innings or whatever in this game, and then they have to turn it over to the worst of the 2 bullpens here. The bullpen that had to be used a little bit yesterday. It doesn't look like the greatest spot for Cleveland here, man. Like how the matchup like looks here. And Cantillo actually isn't that good against Houston in 10 at-bats. It's a small sample size. A 300 average allowed, 864 OPS. Not that good. 4-1 strikeout walk ratio is fine, but he's going up against Hunter Brown, man. Hunter Brown has been amazing all year. 1.82 ERA, 0.9 whip. He's been better at home, too, with a 1.01 ERA. He's been almost unhittable at home, and he's been really good recently as well. Allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in every start going all the way back to late May. Had a 1.19 ERA in June, although he walked too many guys. 39-12 strikeout walk ratio, but he got his walk numbers under control after 2 wild starts. Has not had more than 2 walks in any of his last 3 starts. Houston has won his last 7 starts. So, obviously, I mean, I don't think we have to belabor this very much. I mean, he's pitching really well. He's had a really high strikeout rate as of late as well with whatever that is, 30-something strikeouts over his last 4 starts and only 4 walks. So, a great strikeout walk ratio there. He's pitching really well. And He has good numbers against Cleveland as well. 34 at bats, 13-7 strikeout walk ratio. That's too many walks, but other than that, good numbers. 235 average, 660 OPS. So the matchup looks very good for Houston. The situation looks good for Houston. My only hesitation is what I just talked about a little while ago. Hunter Brown is a first-time All-Star, man. So he might have an unfocused appearance here, man, against a Cleveland team that this Houston team kind of knows they're not a very good team, whatever, even though I know Houston lost last night. It did break a Houston win streak, though, so sometimes that type of loss will hang you over a little bit into the next game. And again, like I talked about, Brown actually might struggle a little bit because he got named to the All-Star team. Again, it's a little bit of a distraction for a young guy like him that isn't used to this. Holy crap, I'm on the All-Star team now. I get to pitch in the All-Star game this weekend. It kind of becomes like a look-ahead spot, man, a little bit of a distraction. So he is in that situation here. So something to watch for here. 93% of tickets, only 87% of cash on Houston. They're down from -190 to -186. So Houston is a big favorite here, and I think deservedly so, but the money is fading them, and maybe for some of the reasons that I just said, even though I do think Houston has the advantage basically all across the board here with the better starting pitching, the better bullpen, and the better hitting. But again, it's all about price as well, and it's about this Hunter Brown situation, man. If he has a distracted start and doesn't do well here, it could throw off the game for Houston. Texas at Anaheim, unfortunately, I got this one wrong. Yesterday, I had the under, and Anaheim actually won despite it being a return home spot as well. But at least for Anaheim, they're in a close battle in the division with Texas, so it was still a big game. So I didn't think they were really going to be distracted in that game. I liked the under, which, of course, it didn't happen. Today, I mean, we're still dealing with a terrible Anaheim bullpen. Both bullpens got used yesterday. So I don't love the bullpen scenario for either of these teams here. Starting pitching, we have Eovaldi pitching for Texas. He's having a really good season, 1.75 ERA, 0.85 whip. He's been really good on the road as well, 1.44 road ERA. He was injured, and he came back. He's had 2 starts since he came back from injury. He only went 3 innings against Seattle, worked his way back, and last time out 5 shutout innings against Baltimore. So he looks like he is back. He pitched really well against Baltimore. 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 hits. Very nice outing from him. So I think we can say Eovaldi is back here. Against Anaheim, he's done well in the past. 79 at-bats, 215 average, 582 OPS. So Anaheim has some very weak offensive numbers and a pretty big sample size against him. 21-10 strikeout walk ratios, too many walks, but it's 4 walks apiece from d'Arnaud and Trout. So the 2 heavy hitters that Anaheim has have been walked a lot. So maybe Eovaldi pitching around them a little bit. But overall, I expect him to do well in the start. He's up against Soriano, who's a lot harder to predict. Jose Soriano for Anaheim, 3.72 ERA, 1.42 whip. He's been way worse at home, 5.57 home ERA, which doesn't bode well. Did well last time out. 7 innings, 7 strikeout shutout against Atlanta. Only allowed 3 hits, 2 walks. He's actually pitching pretty well as of late, even though he got wrecked by Washington in the start before that. He's allowed 0 or 1 earned run in his other 4 recent starts besides that one. So he is in pretty good form, and he is facing a pretty weak Texas offense here. But Texas actually hit Soriano well in 33 at-bats, 5.4 strikeout walk ratio, 394 average. Seager is 4 for 5 on the home run off him, 975 OPS. So Soriano doesn't look like he matches up well. He's not good at home. So I think Texas is the way to look in this game. The money line's gone down on them, though, from -125 to -113. 86% tickets, 90% of the cash, though, on Texas. So they are public. Looks like they have the cash percentage, even though the money line has moved significantly against them. So I'm not going to recommend touching this one, but I think Texas has the starting pitching edge, the bullpen edge. Probably not the hitting edge in this one, but I think the pitching edge is definitely on their side. So that is still kind of the way I'm leaning there. Arizona at San Diego. Big divisional series here. Arizona took the first game yesterday, 6-3. San Diego used a lot of their bullpen again, man. The San Diego bullpen, it's a good bullpen. It's better than Arizona's bullpen, but the rest scenario kind of negates that a little bit. So I don't love either bullpen here. Merrill Kelly is pitching for Arizona. We have some pretty good pitchers on the hill today for both sides. 3.55 ERA, 1.09 whip. He's actually been Arizona's best starter this year, with Burns sidelined for the rest of the season, or shelved for the rest of the season. Kelly's been very similar at home and away. It doesn't really matter. Pitching pretty well either way. He's pitching well recently as well. 2.79 ERA in June. 36-8 strikeout walk ratio. And then he followed that up with one start in July where he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings to San Francisco, which isn't that great because that's not a good offense. 3.3 strikeout walk ratio is not that good, but I'm not going to say that Kelly's all of a sudden like totally out of form or anything like that. He's in a pitcher-friendly park here, and he has okay numbers against San Diego. Very large sample size, so they are familiar with him. 172 at bats. He's allowed 9 home runs, which is too many, but a lot of them are Tatis. So, again, some player prop potential here. Tatis, 10 for 28 with 4 home runs and 3 walks against him, but also 10 strikeouts. So he's like literally hit or miss against him. Overall, 37-14 strikeout walk ratio. Not a great ratio, too many walks, but Kelly has held San Diego to a 238 average and a slightly high 755 OPS, but it still looks like Kelly might be able to do okay here. And he's going up against Nick Pivetta, who's having a really good season, especially in a pitcher-friendly park like San Diego's is. Good season, 3.25 ERA, 1.04 whip. I still didn't think the Red Sox should have kept him, though, because he had too high of a price tag, man, and he is a lot worse at Fenway Park than he is in San Diego, so I don't think his numbers would be this good with the Red Sox, man. I mean, it's all about, a lot of it is about, like, location and where you're pitching, and you can see he has a 4.09 ERA on the road, so he has not been that good on the road, but at home in this pitcher-friendly park, yeah, 2.55 ERA, so he's been good at home. He's been good recently. He just came off a 6 strikeout, 0 walk, 1 run, 7 hit, 6 inning performance at Philly. So he held a really good Philly offense down on the road. Start before that, 7 innings shutout with 10 Ks, no walks against Washington. So 2 really good starts in a row after he had a rough outing inexplicably against a bad Kansas City offense before that. So Pivetta was actually in bad form across like 4 starts. But he's kind of returned to form, man, and his one good start in the mix when he was pitching badly was against Arizona. So I know Arizona did just see him, so that's maybe a little bit of an advantage to Arizona's hitters because they just saw him, so they might do better next time out. But that was the one start he did well in when he was in that like funk. He went 7 innings at Arizona as well at a hitter-friendly park, had 9 strikeouts, 1 walk, only allowed 2 runs. So I think maybe that does bode well for Pivetta here, and even though when a lineup has seen a guy before, sometimes they'll do better against him the next time out if they're recently familiar with him. But when it's a veteran that matches up well against him, I don't think that that's necessarily the case. And that is what we have with Pivetta here against Arizona. They have 79 at-bats against him, 21-8 strikeout walk ratio. Both home runs that he's allowed are both Suarez, and he only has 3 hits and 14 at-bats, so he hasn't even done that well against him. Pivetta's held him to a 165 average and 507 OPS, so even though Arizona has the better offense, I think it's negated a little bit by Pivetta having really good numbers against them. I'm thinking under, though, is probably the way to look at this game. I think both starting pitchers look pretty good in this game. 69% of the tickets, 70% of the cash on the over, but the totals dropped a little bit from 8 to 8, juice the under. It's a pitcher-friendly park here. Public is going to have a tendency to go over with D-backs Padres game like this. So, again, I like the starting pitchers in this one, so I think under makes sense. But if you want to take the bullpens out, because Arizona's bullpen's not good, San Diego's bullpen is very overworked right now. Under in the first 5 innings maybe makes sense here. And as far as the side, San Diego's up from -120 to -130. 72% of tickets, only 69% of the cash. So it looks like some of the money's coming in against San Diego. We have Philly against San Francisco at San Francisco. And San Francisco was in a return home spot yesterday. And I really didn't like the pitching matchup for San Francisco yesterday, but I got it wrong yesterday. San Francisco actually had good pitching yesterday. They won the game. It wasn't really a return home spot for them, though, because they were already close to home playing the A's prior to that. But it was a good game for the Giants. But now the Giants, they have the better bullpen over Philadelphia, but the Giants did have to use some of their bullpen yesterday. The problem is Philadelphia's bullpen is most certainly going to be the first bullpen in this game because Taijuan Walker is listed as the starter. That's not good for Philadelphia. 3.64 ERA is fine. 1.33 whip, not good. He's been good on the road, 2.18 ERA, but the problem is Walker is basically an opener, man. I mean, he's been going 1-2 innings He was pitching deeper into games early in the season, but recently they're letting him go between 1 and 3 innings basically every time out. So I think that's probably what's going to happen here. Walker will probably just start the game, and then Phillies are going to turn it over to their bullpen. And their bullpen's not that good, so that might be an issue. So I don't love that. Walker against San Francisco, they have good numbers against him. An 84 career at bats, 14-6 strikeout walk ratio, 298 average, 749 OPS. So Walker hasn't done that well against San Francisco, and he's up against Robbie Ray, who's been quite good this season. 2.68 ERA, 1.09 whip. Although we do have to see, is Ray an all-star here? Let me see. What do we have? Do we have news on him? Let me see. I don't know. That's one thing to keep in mind, though, Ray, because he hasn't had that great of a career. So if this is Ray's first all-star appearance, if he's named to the all-star team at the age of 33, that is something to keep in mind, man. If it's his first all-star game, he might be a little bit distracted in this game. He is also coming off a complete game against Arizona where he threw over 100 pitches, but he is pretty consistently throwing around 100 pitches, so I don't know if that's really going to throw him off. But a lot of times when you have a great game like that, a complete game, did allow 2 runs, but had 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. Yeah, he's in good form, but he might be a little bit tired and in line for a little bit of a regression here. But Ray, I mean, he's been pitching well basically all season, man. I mean, he's allowed more than 3 earned runs once all season. It was 4 runs that he allowed in that game, but it was against Philadelphia way back in April. So his worst start of the season was against Philadelphia. So there are maybe some reasons to fade Ray here as well. He's up against Philly here, obviously. 79 career at bats. He's done okay against them. 253 average. 762 OPS is getting into a little bit high territory. 31-11 strikeout walk ratio. Not great. He's allowed 3 home runs, 2 of them to Harper. Bryce Harper is 6 for 12 with 2 home runs and 4 walks off him. So Bryce Harper does hit him particularly well. Given all that, I mean, the money looks like it's coming in on San Francisco a little bit, even though they're down from -145 to -143. 72% of tickets, 89% of the cash. So money kind of coming in at San Francisco. But I'm actually thinking an over makes sense here because Philadelphia is basically going with a bullpen game, and I don't think we can trust Walker at all. Ray, if he was named to the All-Star game and he might be a little bit distracted, his one really bad start this year was against Philadelphia. Could be looking at an over in this game, man. 51% of tickets, 83% of the cash coming in on the over. We have Philadelphia's bullpen's not good. San Francisco's is, but it's overworked. Totals up from 7.5 to 8 here. Pretty significant move, actually. Both of them juiced to the over. So the money looks like it is coming in towards the over, and I actually kind of agree with that. And then finishing this off, Atlanta starting a road trip and flying cross-country to face the A's. They are coming off a sweep, so this might be a decent spot for Atlanta to try to break this losing momentum and bounce back. You lose at home to a bad team like Baltimore, man. Maybe one of the best things you could do is just forget about that. Just go on the road, even though I know an East Coast team having to go out to the West to play a late-night game does mess with their biological clock, but at least they had yesterday off, maybe to try to adjust to the time zone. The A's, coming off the big battle of the Bay, at least. They're staying at home, so they don't have any travel, but maybe they'll be in a little bit of a hangover spot after a big series against the Giants. Fuentes is pitching for the Atlanta Braves. He's a really young pitcher right now, but he has struggled so far, man. 9 ERA, 1.83 whip. Hasn't been good. He's only made it 5 innings once, which was actually his first start against the weakest offense he faced, Miami. Struggled since then, not being able to even make it 4 innings in his other 2 starts. Hasn't been that great, man. So I think we're just waiting on Fuentes because he's a decently talented pitcher, but I don't know that he's going to be able to do well here, especially in this crazy hitter-friendly park here in Sacramento. I mean, he might struggle here, man, even though he does have supposedly an advantage and that the A's have never seen him before, but that advantage has not helped Fuentes so far this season. He's up against Jeffrey Springs, who actually hasn't pitched that bad this year for the A's. 4.07 ERA, 1.23 whip. He has been worse in this stadium, though. 4.73 ERA, which is not that great. But recently, he's actually pitched pretty consistently. He's gone at least 5 innings in every start going all the way back to the beginning of June. Had a 2.9 ERA in June with a 26-5 strikeout walk ratio. Hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in any of those starts. And last time out, he did have 3 walks against Tampa. Gave up 2 home runs, but that was at that hitter-unfriendly Tampa park, although I know this is also an unfriendly park, or that's a hitter-friendly park, in Tampa, pitcher-unfriendly park, and I know this park is also pitcher-unfriendly, but I don't know that start was really that bad for Springs, and because of the environment that it was in, Springs is at least more used to pitching in this park. Up against Atlanta, he has good numbers, too, in 25 at-bats, 8-2 strikeout walk ratio, 200 average, 539 OPS, so I don't hate the A's in this game, man, even though it looks like it should be a focus spot for Atlanta. Atlanta flipped from plus 104 to minus 116. They're a road favorite, but does Atlanta really deserve to be a road favorite with a very unproven rookie on the hill here? I'm not sure that they do. 54% of tickets, 60% of the cash coming in on the A's. The A's definitely have the worst bullpen, though, so obviously you got to factor that in. And maybe they have the worst of the two offenses, too, although I think it's close. The big advantage for Atlanta is the bullpen, although I don't love Atlanta's bullpen either. And they might be in this game earlier than the A's bullpen is. So for me, slightly into the A's in that one. Nate, what's up, man? Yeah, Nick Fuentes, he may very well be a glowy. I don't know about Didier Fuentes. Do you think he's a glowy as well for Atlanta here? That's going to do it for me, man. The only play I've given out, Tampa Bay Rays on the money line, man. And hopefully the market is going to kind of shift back and start agreeing with me, which it actually is again, by the way. The line is continuing to drop on Detroit. I don't have the screen up anymore, but Detroit has 59% of tickets, only 56% of the cash now. So I like Tampa. That's the one play I'm going to give out on the show today. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Learn to Toad is where I'm at on Twitter. Better Off Dead is on the audio platform, so please check it out there. Subscribe. We're on YouTube here, obviously. Subscribe, comment, like, do whatever you can. Give me some numbers, baby. We're monetized on the audio platform, so there are ad rolls in there, but hopefully we can monetize. I mean, it is monetized. Hopefully we can actually get some decent money out of it, which it all depends on the amount of impressions over there, man. It's on all the audio platforms. On Instagram as well, so you can check out short-form videos there that I'm putting out. And Covered in Uke is my YouTube Uke channel, which I keep saying I'm going to try to start doing something with that and start doing like Patreon content for that, which I will keep people in the loop on that, I guess, because that should be coming at some point. Thanks, guys. Happy Tuesday, and let's get this one win today, man. Peace.